Imagine a diverse national park with mountains, woods, lakes, streams, hiking trails, a beach, and a beautiful scenic drive, all surrounded by miles and miles of rugged ocean coastline. Then, imagine everything being close enough that you didn't have to drive for hours to get to each location. This is what Acadia National Park is like. Hello, I'm Mike Hudson, and I'm the author of The Photographer's Guide to Acadia, which is an ebook for anyone visiting Acadia, both photographers and non-photographers alike, that not only shows you the best places to photograph in Acadia, but it also shows you how to get to any location by linking every picture to Google Maps using your smartphone, tablet, or computer. I want to show you some of the highlights of Acadia to help you make the most of your time there, whether you have just a day or two or are planning a longer visit. Located off the northeast coast of Maine, more than 3 million people visit the park each year, making it number 8 on the list of most popular national parks. That's a lot of people for a small park, so at times it does get crowded. But even on the busiest of days, if you arrive early enough and avoid some of the hot spots, you can still find some peace and quiet. Acadia is a relatively small park compared to places like Rocky Mountain National Park or Yellowstone, but what makes Acadia different is its accessibility. It's an easy drive to anywhere else on the island, usually in under 30 minutes. And Acadia is blessed with a wide variety of landscapes, all within minutes of each other, so you can spend more time enjoying the scenery than sitting in your car. Most of Acadia is located on Mount Desert Island, a small rocky island about 15 miles east to west and north to south. Only about half of the island belongs to the Park Service. The rest is privately owned and includes the towns of Bar Harbor, Southwest Harbor, Tremont, and Mount Desert. There are so many different places to see in Acadia, but I want to give you just a few highlights that you won't want to miss. To get a good sense of what Acadia is all about, my number one recommendation is to drive along the 27-mile Park Loop Road at a leisurely pace and see what the park has to offer. There are plenty of parking spots along the way, including viewpoints and trailheads. There are also several entry points onto the road, but you might want to start at the Hulls Cove Visitor Center near Bar Harbor. You can also catch a ride here on the Island Explorer bus, which is free and will drop you off and pick you up at many locations along the way. Check out exploreacadia.com for schedules and routes. The most spectacular part of Park Loop Road is Ocean Drive, which follows the contours of the coast past Sand Beach, Thunder Hole, and Otter Cliff. From the Visitor Center, take the one-way road signposted towards Sand Beach and just follow the road from there. It can get congested around Sand Beach and Thunder Hole, so you may have to park on the road outside the main parking areas. The beach is open to swimmers, but even on the warmest summer days, the water is still pretty cold. Get there early in the day if you want to avoid large crowds and heavy traffic. Over at Thunder Hole, on a windy day and at high tide, the waves are forced into a narrow channel to produce a sonic boom. But you have to be there on the right kind of day. In most weather, it's really pretty tame. There's not a whole lot to see. At 1,530 feet, Cadillac Mountain is the tallest on the East Coast. If you're really into mountains, it's not going to compare to the Grand Tetons or the Rocky Mountains. But for the East Coast, this is big. But Cadillac's real claim to fame is that from October to March, it's the first place in the United States where you can see the sunrise. This means that it's not quite the first place to see the sunrise in the summer months, but it's close enough. I'd highly recommend driving to the top of Cadillac to see the sun come up on at least one of the mornings you're in Acadia. It's an easy drive, but leave plenty of time to get there, park your car, and find a spot to watch the sun come up. Especially in the summertime, it'll get crowded, and if you try to find a parking spot just before sunrise, you'll be disappointed, and you might even be turned away by a ranger if the parking lots are full. Check the sunrise time and plan to be at the summit at least 45 minutes earlier. It can be pretty cold, even in summer, so bring a jacket or blanket to stay warm. After the sun comes up, you can either check out more of the park before it gets crowded, or head back to your hotel or campground and catch a couple more hours sleep before breakfast. For a lot of visitors, Maine conjures up visions of moose and lonely lighthouses on rocky coasts. Well, you won't find any moose on Mount Desert Island, but you will find the Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse. This is everything you'd expect from a remote Maine lighthouse, perched on top of a granite cliff, flashing its red beacon out over the ocean. The best time to visit is at sunset, when, if you're lucky, the sky behind the lighthouse might light up in shades of red, yellow, orange, and purple. But it does get crowded here, and there's not a lot of room for people to park at the lighthouse or to watch the sunset from the rocks down below. I'd advise you to get there an hour or two before sunset and hope for the best. Better yet, avoid the sunset crowds and stop by earlier in the day. It's still a great place to visit. Just off Park Loop Road, Jordan Pond is one of the most iconic locations in Acadia. The site of the distinctive twin bubble mountains on the other side of the pond is possibly the most famous view in the park. There's an easy walking trail that goes around the pond and will take you about an hour and a half or more, depending on how often you stop. If you're feeling more adventurous, about halfway around the pond there's a trail that leads up to the top of Bubble Mountain. There you'll be rewarded with one of the best viewpoints in all of Acadia, looking out over Jordan Pond and beyond to the Atlantic Ocean. Back down near the start of your walk is the famous Jordan Pond House, where you can relax and enjoy one of their famous popovers or one of their delicious ice creams. One other thing, if you're willing to get up early or stay out late, Jordan Pond is one of the most beautiful spots in the park and can also be one of the most peaceful places you'll find. One of the things that really sets Acadia apart is its carriage roads. Built in the early 20th century by John D. Rockefeller Jr., these trails are closed to all motorized traffic, but open to walking and biking, horses, and cross-country skiers in the wintertime. There are almost 50 miles of trails along with 17 unique stone bridges and 2 large Tudor-style gatehouses. Each of the distinctive bridges were hand-built and have names like Cobblestone Bridge, Waterfall Bridge, and Duck Brook Bridge. The rocks bordering some parts of the roads are known as Rockefellers Teeth. Eagle Lake, Jordan Pond, and Upper Hadlock Pond are all good places to begin a walk on a carriage road. You can also rent bikes in Bar Harbor or even ride a horse, starting out from the Wildwood Stables near Jordan Pond. There are so many places to explore in Acadia National Park. This has really just been a very quick overview. If you have more time, check out Sur de Mont, hike up the Beehive Mountain Ladder Trail, walk around Great Head or Eagle Lake, or if you don't mind the drive, visit Schoodic Head, an hour away on the mainland, but still part of the national park. Whether you're headed to Acadia to do photography, hike, or just relax and soak up the sights, there's always plenty to do in the park. In the evening, there are dozens and dozens of great restaurants in and around Bar Harbor, Northeast Harbor, and Southwest Harbor. Obviously, in coastal Maine, seafood is one of the more popular dishes on the menu. We haven't even begun to get into many of the other activities you can enjoy in Acadia, like rope climbing off the ocean cliffs, whale watching tours, scenic aerial flights, kayaking, guided tours, and more. But hopefully you've learned a little more about the park and what's available. If you'd like to read about more places to see and where to go in Acadia, as well as learn how to take great photos during your visit, check out the Photographer's Guide to Acadia at this link.